From the icy, remote fishing ports of Alaska to the bustling seafood markets and fine dining restaurants of California, a journey worth millions unfolds every single day, one that happens almost entirely out of sight. It's the story of how one of the most prized catches in the world, the Alaskan king salmon, makes its way across thousands of miles and arrives in perfect, frozen condition, ready to be filleted, plated, and served to some of the most demanding customers on the West Coast. In this video, we'll uncover every step of that process, from the moment the fish is hauled aboard in frigid waters, to the lightning-fast handling on the docks, to the high-tech packaging and the specialized aircraft that race against time to keep the catch pristine. We'll reveal how airlines like Alaska Air Cargo have designed entire operations around seafood, the role of temperature control containers, and why the journey must be measured in hours, not days. If you want to discover the unseen world of premium seafood logistics and learn what it takes to preserve $2 million worth of fresh and frozen fish, make sure to subscribe to our channel now. It's the best way to ensure you don't miss the next time we pull back the curtain on incredible supply chains like this one. The process begins in some of the most challenging fishing environments on the planet. Alaska's king salmon, known for its rich flavor, buttery texture, and impressive size, is caught in waters that are often near freezing, with crews battling icy spray and unpredictable weather. As soon as the salmon comes aboard, the clock starts ticking. Quality is measured not just by the weight and appearance of the fish, but by how quickly it can be chilled to the ideal temperature and kept there. Every minute matters, and experienced crews know that the difference between a premium product and a rejected shipment can be as little as a delay in cooling. On deck, the fish is bled, cleaned, and placed into chilled seawater or directly into ice pack storage bins. The goal is to lower the core temperature of the salmon to just above freezing, cold enough to halt bacterial growth, but not so cold that ice crystals damage the delicate flesh. This step is critical for both fresh and frozen shipments. For frozen salmon, the process moves into blast freezers, where powerful fans and sub-zero air harden the fish solid in just a few hours. This preserves texture, flavor, and color for the journey ahead. Once processed, the fish is carefully packed into insulated boxes lined with gel packs or filled with dry ice. These containers are designed to maintain a constant internal temperature for as long as possible, even when moving between cold storage and the tarmac. Labels identify each box's contents, weight, and destination, while compliance markings ensure the shipment meets both FAA and FDA regulations for transporting seafood. It's not just about keeping the fish cold. It's about meeting strict legal standards that protect both the consumer and the reputation of the fishery. From the dock, the salmon makes its way to specialized seafood terminals at the nearest airport. In Alaska, hubs like Anchorage and Juneau handle an enormous volume of seafood freight, particularly during peak fishing seasons. Here, airlines have dedicated refrigerated storage areas, some chilled just above freezing for fresh shipments and others maintained well below zero for frozen cargo. The salmon is scanned, weighed, and loaded into temperature-controlled air freight containers, which are then staged for immediate loading onto waiting aircraft. Every step is planned to minimize the time the fish spends outside controlled conditions. Air transport is the only way to move seafood like this at the speed and consistency required for premium markets. The flights from Alaska to California are typically less than 6 hours, but the operation is far more complex than simply putting boxes on a plane. Cargo handlers work with tight departure and arrival schedules to ensure the salmon spends as little time as possible between the plane's cargo hold and a refrigerated truck on the ground in California. The airline's crews are trained to prioritize seafood shipments, often loading them last so they can be unloaded first upon landing. Once in California, the salmon is whisked away in refrigerated trucks to distributors, fish markets, and restaurants. For frozen shipments, the goal is to maintain the hard freeze without even partial thawing, while fresh shipments are kept at a consistent near-freezing temperature until they reach the chef's hands. Some of this salmon will be served the very same day it arrives, grilled, roasted, or served raw in high-end sushi restaurants, a turnaround time that would be impossible without this precise and coordinated air transport system. The economic stakes are high. A single shipment can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the annual flow of seafood from Alaska to California represents millions in revenue for fishermen, processors, transport companies, and the broader seafood industry. This means that any failure in the chain, a temperature spike, a mechanical delay, or a missed connection, can translate into massive losses. That's why this supply chain is built on redundancy, precision timing, and specialized equipment at every stage. In the end, this is more than just the movement of fish from one point to another. It's a high-speed, high-value race against time, powered by decades of experience, state-of-the-art technology, and the unyielding demand for one of the world's most celebrated seafoods. From the icy waters of Alaska to the bustling docks and kitchens of California, each king salmon's journey is a testament to what it takes to deliver perfection, still frozen upon delivery, and exactly as nature intended. Maintaining the flawless condition of Alaskan king salmon from ocean to plate is not just a matter of catching and shipping. It's a finely tuned choreography where every participant knows their role down to the minute. In California, the moment those aircraft cargo doors open, a race begins once again. Ramp crews in high-visibility vests guide the temperature-controlled containers directly to waiting refrigerated trucks, engines already running to maintain an unbroken cold chain. These trucks aren't ordinary delivery vehicles. They're equipped with advanced refrigeration units capable of keeping the interior at a precise temperature even in the peak of a California summer. Every minute the doors are open is measured, logged, and minimized to protect the delicate texture and flavor of the fish inside. At the receiving end, distributors have already prepared their facilities for the incoming shipment. Large seafood wholesalers often maintain massive cold storage, warehouses divided into multiple temperature zones. Here, staff unload each insulated box, scan its tracking label, and verify its internal temperature with handheld infrared thermometers. Any shipment even slightly outside the acceptable range is flagged for inspection, because high-end buyers will accept nothing less than perfect. In a business where reputation is everything, one compromised delivery can be the difference between securing a multi-year contract and losing a client. Once cleared, the king salmon follows two distinct paths depending on its final destination. Frozen salmon often heads to long-term storage or is portioned into fillets and vacuum-sealed for retail sale. The frozen state makes it possible to ship these products across the country, or even overseas, without loss of quality. Fresh salmon, on the other hand, is rushed directly to local markets, restaurants, and private buyers. This can mean a refrigerated truck pulling up behind a Michelin-starred restaurant in San Francisco before the dinner service begins, the chef inspecting each fish personally, running a hand over the smooth, cold skin, and nodding approval before it disappears into the kitchen. The demand for Alaskan king salmon in California is fueled by more than just its taste. Consumers here have a long-standing connection to sustainable sourcing and wild-caught products, and Alaska's fisheries are among the most strictly regulated in the world. Every salmon is caught under quotas designed to protect the species, with seasonal restrictions and monitoring that ensure the fishery remains healthy for generations. These measures aren't just government policies. They're selling points that distributors proudly share with customers, reinforcing the idea that buying this fish supports both the environment and the livelihoods of fishing communities thousands of miles away. The people who make this supply chain possible form an invisible network of specialists. On the fishing vessels, crews rise long before dawn, braving the icy winds to haul in nets and lines heavy with shimmering salmon. At the processing plants, skilled workers clean, cut, and package fish at lightning speed, knowing that every wasted second can impact the product's quality. In the airports, cargo handlers move seafood containers with the same urgency as time-sensitive medical shipments, aware that any delay could mean spoilage. On the roads, truck drivers monitor refrigeration units constantly, sometimes making mid-route adjustments to keep the fish at the exact right temperature. Technology plays a critical role at every stage. GPS trackers and temperature sensors ride inside the shipments, transmitting data in real time to logistics teams. If a container warms even a degree above the threshold, alerts are sent instantly so corrective action can be taken. Some companies even allow their restaurant clients to track their specific shipment online, watching as it moves from a port in Alaska, through an airport in Anchorage, and finally to a loading dock in Los Angeles or San Francisco. This transparency builds trust and reinforces the premium image of the product. The speed of this operation is staggering when you consider the distance involved. A salmon could be caught off the coast of Alaska in the early morning, processed and frozen within hours, loaded onto an aircraft that afternoon, and served at a California restaurant the very next day. The ability to move perishable goods this quickly relies on a combination of infrastructure, experience, and a shared understanding among everyone involved that perfection is the only acceptable outcome. There's also an element of tradition woven into this high-tech system. Many of the fishing families in Alaska have been working these waters for generations, passing down knowledge about timing, weather patterns, and the best ways to handle a catch. On the California side, some markets and restaurants have been sourcing from the same fishermen for decades, forging relationships that go beyond contracts and invoices. This human connection adds a layer of meaning to every shipment, turning a box of frozen fish into the latest chapter in a story that began long before it left the ocean. When we step back and look at the full picture, it's clear that the transport of Alaskan king salmon to California is not just commerce. It's a testament to what can be achieved when tradition, technology, and timing intersect perfectly. From the hands that pull the nets to the hands that prepare the plates, this is a supply chain where precision is non-negotiable, and the reward is nothing less than delivering a taste of the wild, untouched waters of Alaska to a customer hundreds or even thousands of miles away, still frozen upon delivery and ready to become an unforgettable meal. What makes this journey even more remarkable is how invisible it is to most of the people enjoying a plate of Alaskan king salmon in California. Diners see the seared fillet, the bright coral flesh glistening under a drizzle of sauce, but they have no idea that less than 48 hours ago, that same fish was swimming in waters so cold that chunks of ice drifted across the surface. They don't imagine the fisherman leaning over the side of a boat in the early dawn, the sting of salt air biting his face, or the rush on deck when the nets came in heavy. They don't picture the carefully timed handoff from vessel to dock workers, or the hum of industrial freezers dropping the temperature to sub-zero in a matter of minutes. This hidden journey is the heartbeat of a thriving industry that demands flawless execution at every stage. California's role as a destination for this prized seafood isn't just about appetite. It's about infrastructure and demand converging perfectly. The state is home to some of the most competitive restaurant scenes in the world, where chefs will pay a premium for a product that arrives in pristine condition. High-end sushi bars in Los Angeles, waterfront bistros in San Francisco, and luxury hotels from Napa to San Diego all build menus around the promise of wild-caught Alaskan king salmon. Distributors know this market well. They've built networks designed to deliver exactly what these clients expect, when they expect it, without compromise. The scale of the operation is staggering. During peak salmon season, flights out of Anchorage carry hundreds of thousands of pounds of seafood each week. Pallets stacked with insulated containers move in a steady stream from processing plants to airport loading docks, each one containing a small fortune in perishable goods. Airlines treat these shipments as top priority cargo, often adjusting schedules and dedicating space in the hold to ensure the seafood travels under ideal conditions. The coordination is almost military in its precision. Every handler, driver, and scheduler plays their part with a sense of urgency that reflects the value of what they're moving. On arrival in California, this urgency doesn't fade. For fresh salmon in particular, the countdown is relentless. Distributors work through the night to break down shipments, repackaging fish for specific clients. Refrigerated vans fan out across the state, some making deliveries before dawn so that chefs can receive their orders in time for lunch prep. Every handoff is a point of risk. Each door opened, each moment outside a temperature-controlled environment is a chance for the cold chain to break. That's why teams are trained to operate with speed and care, treating every box as if it were fragile glass. Behind the scenes, quality control is a constant presence. Random boxes are opened and inspected for ice quality, flesh firmness, and color. Thermometers confirm that internal temperatures remain at target levels, and any box that fails to meet the standard is pulled from the shipment. In a business where reputation is built on consistency, Even a single compromised delivery can ripple through the supply chain, damaging trust and contracts. The stakes are high enough that companies invest heavily in training and equipment to avoid even the smallest error. The technology supporting this trade has evolved dramatically over the past decade. Temperature loggers small enough to fit inside a gel pack can now send live data to smartphones anywhere in the world. Logistics software predicts and mitigates potential delays by tracking weather patterns, airport congestion, and flight availability in real time. Some companies have even begun using blockchain systems to record every handoff in the salmon's journey, giving buyers a digital certificate of authenticity that proves exactly when and where the fish was caught, processed, and shipped. For the fishermen in Alaska, this California-bound trade is more than just a paycheck. It's a lifeline for their communities. Many of these small coastal towns rely almost entirely on the fishing season for their annual income. The success of the supply chain means steady work for crews, plant workers, and transport companies, all of which feeds back into local economies. And in California, the influx of fresh and frozen king salmon supports not only restaurants, but also seafood markets, catering businesses, and health-conscious consumers who prize the fish for its nutritional benefits. This economic connection has fostered a unique relationship between two places separated by thousands of miles. Buyers in California often know their suppliers in Alaska by name, and fishermen can sometimes name the restaurants where their catch will eventually be served. Seasonal patterns tie these regions together. When the first big runs of king salmon hit the nets in Alaska, distributors in California are already ramping up orders and clearing space in cold storage to receive the flood of fish. It's a relationship built on mutual respect, shared standards, and a recognition that both ends of the chain depend entirely on the other. Yet, even with all this technology, planning, and trust, the system is still vulnerable to forces beyond anyone's control. Sudden storms in Alaska can ground fishing vessels. Mechanical issues can delay flights. Traffic jams or heat waves in California can disrupt last-mile delivery. In these moments, the resilience of the network is tested. Backup plans swing into motion. Alternate flights, secondary suppliers, emergency cold storage facilities. The best operators are the ones who can adapt instantly, protecting both the product and the promises made to customers. At the heart of it all is a simple but powerful truth. Every person along this chain understands that the end goal is not just to move a product, but to deliver an experience. Whether it's the first bite of perfectly grilled salmon at a Napa Vineyard dinner or a delicate slice of sashimi served at a Los Angeles sushi bar, the journey of this fish is meant to disappear into that moment. The customer may never think about the aircraft cargo hold, the midnight trucking, or the freezer temperatures maintained to the decimal point, but all of it is there, in the flavor, the texture, and the knowledge that this is as close to perfection as seafood can get. In the final stretch of its journey, the Alaskan king salmon enters the stage where all the behind-the-scenes precision becomes invisible. And yet, this is the moment that justifies every step before it. In the kitchens of California's top restaurants, chefs treat each fish with a reverence that mirrors the care taken to deliver it. Fresh shipments are unpacked from their insulated boxes, the cold vapor from gel packs curling into the air like a signal that the chain has remained unbroken. Skilled hands check the firmness of the flesh, the sheen of the skin, and the clarity of the eyes before laying the fish on stainless steel counters. Knives, sharpened to surgical precision, slide effortlessly through the meat, revealing the deep, vibrant color that only comes from wild-caught salmon. Every cut is intentional, because here, waste is unthinkable. The value of each fillet is matched only by the effort it took to get it here. For frozen deliveries, the process is different but no less meticulous. Blocks of perfectly frozen salmon are stored in blast freezers at the receiving facilities until orders are placed. Some will be thawed under strict temperature controls for immediate consumption, while others will be shipped further afield, extending the influence of Alaska's fisheries beyond California's borders. Even when frozen, the quality of king salmon remains evident, and for many customers, knowing the fish has been preserved at peak freshness is just as valuable as receiving it fresh. This ability to maintain texture, taste, and nutritional value across time and distance is what allows the supply chain to operate on such a massive scale. Once plated, The story of the salmon's journey all but disappears. The diner sees the artistry of the chef, perhaps a fillet laid across a bed of seasonal vegetables, drizzled with citrus glaze, or a sashimi platter arranged with geometric precision. They taste the richness, the delicate balance of fat and protein that has made king salmon a crown jewel of seafood markets worldwide. They enjoy the experience without realizing that thousands of people, from fishermen to cargo pilots, have worked in perfect coordination to put this meal in front of them. And in a way, that's exactly how it should be. The supply chain is successful when it becomes invisible, when the only thing the customer notices is excellence on the plate. The journey of the salmon is also a reflection of a broader truth about modern logistics. It shows how technology, tradition, and human dedication can converge to solve one of the toughest challenges in food distribution: moving a delicate, highly perishable product across great distances without sacrificing quality. In a world where many industries are defined by speed, this one adds a layer of uncompromising care. Every choice, from the type of ice used in the initial catch, to the flight schedule chosen for air transport, to the exact route a refrigerated truck takes through California traffic, is made with a singular purpose: to deliver the fish as if it had just been pulled from the water. What sets the Alaska to California salmon route apart from other seafood supply chains is the scale of its stakes. This isn't a bulk commodity that can absorb minor losses or delays. Each fish has a high market value, and the reputation of the fishermen, the processors, and the distributors rides on every shipment. When you're moving millions of dollars worth of product in a season, a single lapse in the cold chain can mean tens of thousands in losses. That reality creates a culture of accountability at every stage, where people understand not just what they need to do, but why it matters. The human element is as important as the technical one. The fisherman who sets out before sunrise in the icy Alaskan dawn knows his catch may end up on a plate in California within days. The processor understands that his careful handling will preserve the fish's integrity through hours of transport. The cargo crew on the tarmac treats each container as time-sensitive treasure, because they know delays aren't measured in minutes, but in degrees of temperature that can make or break a shipment. And the chef in California, who might have worked with the same distributor for years, trusts that the fish arriving in his kitchen will meet the same standard every time. This deep interdependence fosters something rare in global commerce: a sense of shared purpose. From the remote fishing ports of Alaska to the urban culinary capitals of California, everyone involved in this trade is bound by a common goal: to honor the product. It's a goal that transcends geography, climate, and even profit. While the financial rewards are significant, there's also pride in knowing that this chain delivers not just food, but a story, a connection between two very different places linked by the same ocean. By the time the salmon has completed its journey, the path it took is no longer visible. The airports, the trucks, the cold storage facilities, and the hands that moved it along have all faded into the background, leaving only the final impression on the diner's palate. But within the industry, the journey is never far from mind. Each successful delivery is another proof that such a complex operation can be executed flawlessly, day after day, season after season. It's a reminder that while the king salmon may be a symbol of Alaska's wild beauty, it's also a testament to the ingenuity and dedication required to bring that beauty to a dinner table thousands of miles away, still frozen upon delivery, and every bit as extraordinary as the day it was caught.